The most mystical signs of the zodiac. There are signs of the zodiac that are given more than just intuition or empathy. They feel before it happens. They know without knowing why. They see the essence of things through the shell of words. They cannot be deceived because they are connected to what is hidden from the majority. This is not magic in the movie sense. This is real inner knowledge that works in silence, in a pause, in the non-verbal. Today we will reveal which of the zodiac signs has the strongest mystical nature, who senses danger even before it manifests itself, who can read other people's intentions and anticipate future events with such accuracy that it scares others. This issue is for those who want to understand where some people get such strength from, why they seem not like everyone else since childhood, and how to recognize that very energy in themselves. If you are looking for deep, esoteric knowledge, not superficial horoscopes, subscribe. Here we talk about the present, and in the comments, write which of your friends you considered too sensitive or strangely accurate. Perhaps he is from these mystical signs. Let's begin the analysis. You will be surprised. The first sign is Virgo. At first glance, Virgo may seem rational and down to earth, but this is where her mystical nature is hidden. She does not cast spells. She calculates. She does not guess, but senses the moment with an accuracy that cannot be explained by logic. Her strength is not in emotions, but in the super-sensitive ability to see the essence of things behind external manifestations. Virgo instantly reads people, their intentions, weak points, even when no one suspects that someone is watching her. Her magic is in analysis, which turns into a prediction. She does not ask questions, but immediately gives a conclusion. Her intuition merges with reason, and the result is an almost supernatural ability to know what is inaccessible to others. She notices patterns in chaos, details in the smallest movements, hears subtexts in innocent phrases. She traces hidden connections between events, calculates hidden motives, and never misses the moment when energy changes direction. The mysticism of Virgo is manifested in her absolute controllability. She can be calm, cold, and collected even at moments when others lose their heads. But behind this external calm lies incredible internal sensitivity, combined with intellectual acuity. It is this union that makes her dangerously precise in her feelings. She does not believe in coincidences, because she has long understood that everything is connected. Her home often becomes a place where things lie in their places for a reason. Every little thing in the space carries a hidden meaning. She loves rituals, even if she does not call them that. This can be a morning routine, a special way of making tea, or repeated actions that she carries out to adjust her internal balance. But behind all this is the desire to control not only the external, but also the invisible layers of reality. Virgo knows how to ground information flows so that they become manageable. Her magical system is not intuitive, but structured. She does not rely on guesswork, but builds her actions on knowledge. And her premonitions are even more frightening because they are always backed up by facts. She feels where the frame is cracking. She sees when the mask is slipping, and she understands when it is time to retreat or strike. No one guesses how much is going on in her head while she is simply watching. But it is at this moment that she already determines the ending. The mysticism of Virgo is in her ability to be the point where reason and energy connect. She does not make noise, does not play the witch, but it is in her presence that the denouements occur, which everyone later remembers as strange coincidences. The second sign is Libra. Libras do not shout about their mystical side. They do everything to remain outwardly harmonious, balanced, and understandable. But behind this facade lies the most subtle work with the invisible. Their magic is in the balance between light and shadow, and they feel these poles better than any psychic. Libras pick up vibrations in space and instantly tune into any atmosphere, like an antenna receiving invisible signals. Representatives of this sign have an innate ability to sense where the subtle is. They always feel when there is a shift at the energy level. They don't need to see. They know. Their sensitivity to other people's emotional fluctuations is so high that it seems as if they read minds. And although they often say that they just don't like the atmosphere or there's something wrong with this person, later it turns out that they hit the nail on the head. Their mysticism is in their ability to maintain a balance between two extremes. They can listen to both darkness and light without choosing a side, but remaining calm. This is what makes them dangerously strong. Libras know how to stay on the border between worlds, and from this position, they see what is hidden to others. It is easy for them to resonate with the emotions of others, and this is what gives them access to the deep layers of the human essence. They tend to create symbols around themselves. Their appearance, decorations, scents, colors, everything has a hidden function. It is not just aesthetics. It is an energetic language through which Libras interact with the world. Their home is filled with objects that have their own meaning. They make choices based not on logic, but on an inner knowledge that this object, person, or place sounds right. Libras can be mystics who will never admit it. They do not perform rituals, but their life is a continuous meditation on harmony. They are endowed with the ability to subtly influence the environment, changing the emotions and mood of others simply by their presence. Their energy is soft, enveloping, but at the same time deep and thought-provoking. They are like a mirror in which everyone sees their reflection, sometimes beautiful, sometimes frightening. Their mystical gift is in the ability to be invisible while maintaining full influence. Libras can leave a conflict without losing strength. They can remain silent, and it is this silence that changes everything. They sense balance and know how to return it to where it is broken. This is what they work with, not with spells, but with precise intervention at the moment when everything is on the edge. The third sign is Scorpio. The mystical energy of Scorpio is undeniable. It is felt on the level of skin, words, and gaze. This is a sign whose presence changes the atmosphere in a room. Its depth is not psychological, but energetic. He does not just understand, he feels through. His gaze penetrates into the essence, and no one can hide from him what is hidden within. This is why Scorpios are feared, because they do not leave illusions. Representatives of this sign are associated with transformation. Their magic is in the destruction of the old and rebirth through crisis. They are not afraid of darkness. On the contrary, they know how to manage it. Their strength is that they go where others do not dare and bring knowledge from there. This is what makes them mystical figures. They do not play a role. They really have access to the underground layers of human nature. Scorpio does not ask. He asserts. He does not seek the truth. He feels it inside. His intuition is so sharp that sometimes it seems. He does not guess, but knows in advance. His premonitions are accurate. His fears are always justified. He does not say much, but his every word is like a shot to the center. That is why he is feared and respected. He is inclined to deep internal practices, even if this does not manifest itself outwardly. His attention is directed inward, to the roots, to the sources. He can be silent for years about what he feels, but when he speaks, a shift occurs. His energy is capable of drawing out other people's secrets, activating fears, opening the subconscious. He is a guide between worlds. Scorpio's mysticism is not light. It is power, it is tempo, it is an internal fire that cannot be extinguished. His inner world is a labyrinth. But it is in this labyrinth that he finds the truth, which he then conveys to others, with a look, a touch, a decision. He does not need recognition, but his mystical power is always felt on an instinctive level. Scorpio does not play magic. He is its embodiment. His life is a series of internal deaths and new births, and each time he emerges from the fire stronger. His presence frightens the weak, but awakens those who are ready to change. His energy is like a shadow, invisible, but determines the form. He does not perform rituals, he is the ritual itself, and this is his true, undisguised mystical essence. The fourth sign is Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the only sign whose mysticism is not in behavior, but in intentions. He is able to behave simply, speak openly, and even joke louder than everyone else. But behind this facade, there is a mechanism that even experienced psychologists cannot unravel. Everything that Sagittarius does is dictated not by logic or emotions, but by an internal system of premonitions that works more accurately than a clock. He does not tell fortunes or cast spells, but he always ends up in the right place before others. People around him feel that something is happening to him, but they cannot understand what exactly. This is his mystical power. He does not demonstrate it, he lives with it. Sagittarius will not meditate for hours or light candles to hear an inner voice. A glance is enough for him to understand who is telling the truth and who is trying to manipulate. His intuition does not scream. It whispers, but so clearly that it is impossible to ignore it. Even in the noise of a big city, Sagittarius can pick out the right detail, catch an important phrase, notice a gesture that foreshadows a turn of events. People often don't realize that Sagittarius feels ahead, but he has known this since childhood. That is why he rarely doubts. He doesn't need to check 100 times. He just knows. The second level of his mystical nature is the ability to attract events that he himself does not explain. He can dream of fragments of the future. He can see a number or a name and understand that it is connected with fate. He does not share this even with his loved ones, but a clear system of symbols, signs, and internal signals works inside him. He can enter a room and instantly feel that something is wrong here, or, on the contrary, he can sense that it is here that he needs to linger. Sagittarius almost always has a feeling that this is going to happen now, and it works. There is no theatricality in him, no spectacular gestures, but there is a result that amazes. His mysticism also manifests itself in the ability to be between worlds. He can communicate with representatives of different cultures, religions, teachings, and in each case, sound like one of them. This is not acting or a mask. This is an innate ability to enter another person's field, read them on a deep level, and adjust his behavior not out of politeness, but from a precise understanding of how to speak in order to be heard. Sagittarius can move from a banal conversation to a conversation in which the other person confesses the most intimate in a minute, and then he himself is surprised how it happened. Sagittarius is not a mystic who goes into the shadows. He does not wear amulets, does not demonstrate mysterious attributes. His strength is in naturalness. He cannot be read by his appearance, because the real magic of Sagittarius is in his actions. He can be silent and be the most influential person in the room. He can smile and at the same time unravel everyone. He can argue and still see ahead. This is not a gift he received from others. It is a built-in system, active from birth. The most mystical thing about him is his constant readiness to transition. Sagittarius knows how to leave one state and enter another without resistance. He is not afraid of change because he knows everything has already happened somewhere inside, and he only has to repeat it in reality. People living next to Sagittarius feel that he knows more, and that is why they are drawn to him, even if they do not always understand why. He is not a mystic in form, he is a mystic in essence, and his strength is not in rituals, but in the absolute certainty that everything that should happen is already on its way to him. The fifth sign of Pisces. Pisces are not just mystical, they are built from the energy of perception that other signs are unable to contain. Their reality is layered. One level is social, the second is emotional, the third is sensory, the fourth is informational. Pisces simultaneously exist in all these layers. Their attention is not focused on one thing, it spreads out, penetrating where others do not even see the doors. That is why Pisces can predict an event without logic, guess the thought of the interlocutor without analysis, and sense danger a few days before it manifests. Their mystical nature does not look spectacular. They do not make magical gestures, do not speak loudly, and do not pretend to be the chosen ones. But they are the ones who most often see dreams that come true in detail. They are the ones who notice signs where others pass by. Their body reacts before the mind. If something goes wrong, Pisces will have a strange feeling that cannot be explained, but also impossible to ignore. And once they trust this inner response, everything evens out. When they try to act logically, everything collapses. The mysticism of Pisces is in absolute sensitivity. This is not a weakness, but a system for reading reality. They hear more than others, and not with their ears, but with the field around them. In a crowd, they instantly determine who is currently under stress, who is lying, who is in love. This is not telepathy. This is superperception. It is as if they are connected to an energy network that others do not even know how to get to. Therefore, Pisces often get tired. It is difficult for them in chaos, in the city, in rigid logic. They can get sick not because of a virus, but because they have been around a negative person for too long. Their mysticism is not in their actions, in the nature of their body. Pisces often cannot explain how they learned something. They just felt and were right. Their decisions may seem strange, illogical, even ridiculous. But after a while it becomes clear. This is exactly how it should be. It is important that Pisces themselves do not always trust themselves. They often need an external signal to hear what they already knew. Their path is in strengthening their inner voice, in training themselves to trust. As soon as they stop looking for confirmation from the outside, their strength increases many times over. Pisces mysticism is a channel. They do not create magic, they broadcast it. Ideas, inspiration, knowledge, even words that others need pass through them. That is why there are so many creative people, mediums, intuitive healers, mentors among Pisces. They do not need to learn to be mystics. They just need not to be afraid to be themselves. Their gift is sensitivity, but not emotional, but energetic. The vibrations of the world pass through them directly, and if they learn not to block it, they become unique bearers of knowledge. When Pisces are in balance, They are able to influence the reality around them. Their thoughts materialize, their words influence destinies. They know how to be silent in such a way that people around them suddenly start talking about something important. They know how to appear in the lives of others exactly when it is needed. These are not coincidences. This is their inner connection with what is only just approaching. Pisces do not predict. They are already inside the future. This is what makes them the most mystical representatives of the zodiac.